Hey pushers, Mr. Imatsu coming with you with your first video on learning how to write a DBQ. So probably one of the most important parts of the test. It's a part of the test where if you can just simply write and you don't know the history, you can actually get a really good score. Some students really fear writing, but I'm here to try to break it down, make it simple, make it easy, and empower you so that you can acquire some points towards the test. The DBQ is graded out a total of 7 points. We are never ever going to try to get all seven. I encourage some of my students to try tonight, even try to get two of them because I feel like they're very difficult to do and it's not necessary. Um, of course, we always want to try our best. We want to get as many points as possible. But to give you a heads up, if you get 3 out of the 7 points on this test on this DBQ, you're on your way. Given a good multiple choice, short answer, and LEQ, again, average. You're getting an average score, and then with the average score, you'd be on a way to gain a 3 on the test. So that's kind of what we look for. So you'll be hearing that kind of as I go back and forth throughout multiple times. We'll be talking about the different points. And I'll be emphasizing what I call like a basic essay and then a more advanced essay. The basic essay is going to get that 3 to 4 points. The advanced essay, we're going to show you how to get that 5, 6, and 7 points. But again, even some of my strongest students, I encourage them just to shoot for 5. Don't ever try to overpress yourself and try to get all 7. But if you want to, go for it. All right. So today we're kind of be checking out this DBQ, the overview of all the DBQ rubric and all these resources. Real quickly on this lesson plan, what you have is you have a lesson, you have a video. I kind of described the video, but you really just have to watch the video and follow me word for word. And you will actually be you'll be marking the DBQ like I will using Cami. You'll be using the DBQ outlining worksheet as I will. And also you'll be creating an essay. And by the end of this lesson, you'll actually be pretty much copying and pasting most of what I do. And that's the kind of goal of the model. Obviously, you'll be tested on your own in the future where you're going to be given, just a DBQ and you're expected to give an essay back, and you can use the resources that I provided or not. It's really up to you. But that's kind of what is going on in this little model of what we're going to be doing. So each day there is an item to be complete, like the discussion board, because I found this discussion board helpful. But notice that you're going to be working on the DBQ, you're going to be working on the outline worksheet, and you're going to be working also on the essay. So really, there's only going to be 2 times that you really turn something into Schoology because of most of these items are discussion board. The first one is going to be on lesson 3. Where you'll be turning in your DBQ. That's the one with actual documents that we'll mark, and also an outline worksheet that I created. And then on the last day, which down here, which will be, I think, lesson 5. At the end of lesson 5, you'll have a full essay, and that's when you'll turn in your essay. So I'm really only going to be looking for 3 items being turned in, and 2 are turned in on one day, another one on another day, and there's kind of discussion boards. So at the very end, look at the very bottom. It'll tell you exactly where to go and kind of follow one in another as we go day to day. So there's a lesson plan. I want to show you guys my essay resources page. This is on my website. On the left-hand side, there's tips, tricks, and resources. When you first go there, this down arrow will be collapsed. So you want to open it up and expand it, and you'll click essay resources. And when you get to essay resources, the first thing you'll see is the DBQs from College Board. So these are all DBQs that we've gotten. Try to get the most recent ones. Last 5, 6 years are better than ones many years ago. As you may be aware of, our course in our class and our test went through a redesign many years ago. There's a DBQ and LEQ grading sheets if you want to check those things out. There it is. This rubric we'll be talking about in a second. But I also have a rubric for me. The College Board basically will give you a point or don't give you a point for things like contextualization or a thesis. I try to show you a range, right? So there's these different points I'll be giving you for different amounts, but there will be my explanation, and we'll talk about that as we move forward. I just want to make you aware that on these essay resources, another one that's really important, advice for identifying point of view. And lastly, these sentence templates. And it just keeps on going on, right? There's a lot of worksheets. This is one I did before. If you want to see it one more time, some more help and resources to help you get through it. So a lot of resources on this if you want to refer to them for more help. We're going to take a look at the College Board rubric, which is again on my website. Just to get an idea about it, we'll go more in depth in this, but first thing I want to teach you is that the rubric is out of 7 points. I've already said that a couple times, but just want to make sure it's clear. Your thesis is worth 1 point. Your contextualization is 1 point. Now, in my opinion, your thesis actually could get another point if you look down here, because you have to explain the corroboration, the qualification, or the modification of the thesis. So in order to get this point down here, we'll talk about in a second, you have to have what we call an advanced thesis. All right, so there's kind of a hidden like, hey, if you want to get an extra bonus point, it better be advanced. But you have a thesis, you have contextualization. Both of these are going to be found in the introduction, and everything else is found in your body paragraphs. In your DBQ, you do not need a conclusion, so you don't need a conclusion. You'll have another point for evidence. You'll get another 2 points if you use 6 documents and you support the argument rather than just addressing the topic. If you have one additional piece of historical evidence, this is one of those points I'm never going to freak out on you guys. You know, the DBQ is going to be about one topic, and you may not remember much from that topic, and that's okay. But if you do remember something and the evidence relates back to your argument, that's the most important thing. You can't just start listing facts about what was happening during that time. It has to go back to the argument of the prompt and argument in your thesis. We're all going to try to do at least 3 documents for sourcing. This is why actually I'm going to try to have you guys do 4. The reason being 4, if you mess up on 1, you get your point here because you still did 3. Oops, sorry about that. And you also get your 3 document point for doing so what we call sourcing. All right. And then the last thing is this: in your documents, if you use 6 of them and you found corroboration, do you explain the corroboration? And is it the same explanation that was in your argument of the thesis? So I know that's a little bit confusing. We're going to go break down all of these points. Your goal is not to know all of these things right now. Right-hand side is some cool explanations on this. So if you ever want to check it out, that kind of gives me a clue about how I am going to be grading you as well. I have a rubric and I break these points down into like a scale, right? So 10 being advanced and 5 being not so good, right? With a basic and a proficient. In my opinion, if you ever get a proficient or an advanced, I would think that you're going to get a point on the test. It's just an advanced person might do it a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. A proficient person may make a few mistakes here, whether it be grammar or historical, but I still understand the argument or still understand what was going on, where that student would get a point. If you ever get a basic, I don't think that you would get a point on the test. Remember that, again, you get 1 or 0 on the day of the test. So I take that 1 and 0 and I kind of have put it into a spectrum of really good, pretty good, probably get a point. Hey, you tried, but you know what? You're not going to get a point. And wow, this is unfortunately really incomplete and unclear. Okay. So I take those different points, like the thesis over here, contextualization, the evidence, and also more arguments. If you do 6, evidence beyond the documents, your sourcing information, and also your advanced thesis complexity. And I kind of give you some ideas of what usually a student that does an advanced does, what proficient does, what basic does, and what incomplete does. I'm not going to go through those right now because I will actually, when I get through contextualization, I'll explain why my grade would be high and what are some of the mistakes I see from students as we actually create it. But you may want to take some time today to go ahead and look through these things and see what are some of the common mistakes that separate a student from a basic to a proficient. Okay, that's kind of be cool to look at those two. Because that's right here is the line between the students that get a 0 on the test and the kids that get a 1 point on the test, and these kids don't get a point. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you in this rubric here. You'll have on Schoology, I unfortunately haven't posted it, but you will have the DBQ and an outline worksheet. I didn't make copies of those here because I want you to grab those copies from Schoology. I want you to edit them, and then I want to have you submit those back. Those are the 2 items there. So you'll see me using them. And then also we have our paragraph and sentence templates. Again, this is why it's not linked here, guys. Usually I link everything for you to make it easy, but I want you to go to Schoology and use that one rather than creating your own copy and getting lost. Um, but this link was really cool. This is our paragraph and sentence templates. It kind of shows you what point you're getting and how to put it into actually a full paragraph and what it looks like. So this is your introduction here, and here's your points, and this is what it looks like right here. And then your body paragraphs right here kind of tells you the different types of body paragraphs. I actually color code them as well. So claim is green, sourcing is red. And then right here is what a body paragraph would look like, and then I also explain what a conclusion is. So this gives you a really good overview, a really good structure. We'll be using these again. Each of these resources we get more into, but it doesn't hurt for you to take some time to go ahead and read those items and kind of have an idea and bring some of those questions to our discussion board on our first discussion board so we can address some of the questions that you guys have. So that's it for this review. We're just going to do a quick little review of what's going on. Another thing that you may want to do is install Cami as a Google Chrome extension. I'll be using that. You can always print this and take pictures of it if you wanted to, if you want to use it by hand. However, since we're in this digital era, we're going to be using Cami. I'll be using Cami to go ahead and mark up your guys' document so you can see how it should happen. So you can follow along. So if you want to follow along with me and mark documents like I would electronically, please go and install Cami so you have it. And we'll see you on the next lesson. And hopefully you'll watch that video and we'll get you through that one and get you through a 5-day little lesson to understand how to write a DBQ. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.